No, absolutely. No, thanks for that. No, it's really, really useful. Yeah, no, we'll get on.
Shall I come back?
Yeah, no, that's grand. Listen, we'll talk again next week. Thanks for all your help. Thanks. Bye now. Bye. Come on in. Peter, you saved me a phone call. How did you get on with your conference last week?
It was good. It really got me thinking about things we should be doing here. And if you have a minute, I'd like to show you something.
Far away.
Right, before I start, do you know what Vuca means?
Vuca. Something about flexible strategies, complex world, US military?
That's pretty good. Back in the early 1990s, the US Army top brass came to the conclusion that their strategies were out of date in a very fast-changing world. So they created the word Vuca to describe the environment in which things were changing very fast.
So what does Vuca actually mean?
Well, as you see here, V of Vuca is for volatile, and this means where change happens rapidly and unexpectedly. Okay. The U is for uncertain, where changes are frequent and results are unpredictable.
But Peter, aren't volatile and uncertain, don't they mean the same thing?
Not exactly, but let's just carry on. C is complex, where challenges are complicated by many factors, and if you think of the climate,
Well, I can see how that would be the case if you've got volatile and uncertain.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Okay. And then A is for ambiguous. And that's where problems and solutions are both unclear.
I don't mean to be rude, Peter, but is that it?
Danielle, this is only half the story. Do you want me to continue?
Yes, carry on.
Okay. Well, there's this very clever guy called Bob Johansen in the United States.
Okay.
And he's come up with a concept which he calls Vuca Prime. And that's a way in which it helps us to thrive and survive in a Vuca world.
Oh, well, now that sounds too good to be true.
No, it isn't actually, because there are companies like Procter & Gamble, Unilever, General Electric, that's it, and Tesco in the UK. They are all bringing in the concept of Vuca into their strategic planning for the future.
So what is this Vuca, what was it you called it?
Vuca Prime. There. Now, in Vuca Prime, volatility can be countered by vision. And by the way, vision means having a very clear picture of where you're going, but recognizing that you could be pushed offline by all sorts of events, right there.
Oh, well, that's easier said than done.
Okay.
Said than done. I can be very sure about where I want to go, but I can still be horribly wrong.
Well, that is actually one of the things which Johansen says, that in volatile times, people are looking for clear vision, but the trouble is they're after grasping a vision which often is not right. But they'll settle for a vision if it's clear.
Yeah, it presents a whole new challenge.
Well, that's the way it is. And then uncertainty can be countered with understanding. All right?
Okay.
Very important. How can you make strategic plans in uncertainty? You can't until you start to understand what's happening. Complexity can be countered with clarity. Now that means in a situation, if you want people to follow you, they must be clear in where they're going. If you don't have clarity, they'll go all over the place.
That's easier said than done, frankly.
And finally, ambiguity. That can be encountered by agility. So take, for instance, if you want to communicate, change has happened in your organization, get the news traveling fast, get solutions coming up fast. That's what you need.
But that's going to be the challenge. How are we going to communicate with the whole team so that they know where we're going and how we're going to get there?
Well, this is what Mr. Johansen says. I'd just like to read it.
Leaders in a Vuca world must have the foresight to see where they're going, but also remain flexible about how they get there. Fine, but how do you see us using Vuca Prime?
At this stage in our business development programme, I think it's a bit too early.
On the contrary, change is not an option, and Vuca could be a real help. We need to future-proof this company. Are you going on holiday next week?
Yeah, but only for 10 days.
No, that's great. Why don't we both go away, think about how we can apply Vuca to our current business, and then come back and start rolling out the plan?
Yes, certainly.
Did you mention some book?
Yes, Leaders Make the Future. I've ordered 2 copies and they should be arriving in the office tomorrow.
Leaders Make the Future?